Bedtime Bliss stories. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then slowly release it. With each breath, let go of any worries or distractions, and allow your mind and body to relax. Now I will tell you the amazing story about the enormous crocodile, a story of courage and kindness. Chapter 1: The Enormous Crocodile's Plan. In the heart of the jungle, there lived an enormous crocodile. He was the biggest crocodile anyone had ever seen, with sharp teeth and a cunning mind. The crocodile was always hungry and dreamed of eating something more exciting than his usual diet of fish and small animals. One day, he decided that he wanted to eat children. The crocodile came up with a plan to sneak up on the children by disguising himself as a tree trunk. He was confident that he could fool the children, as they were known for being gullible. He set off to find a suitable spot to wait for his prey. Chapter 2: The Crocodile Meets the Animals. As the crocodile made his way through the jungle, he encountered several animals who were suspicious of his intentions. They knew that he was up to no good and tried to warn him off. But the crocodile was too clever for them and continued on his way. First, he met a monkey who warned him that the children were not as stupid as he thought. The monkey tried to convince the crocodile to change his ways and find something else to eat, but the crocodile would not listen. Next, he met a bird who also tried to dissuade him from his plan. The bird told him that there were better things to eat in the jungle and that he should be content with what he had. But the crocodile was determined to carry out his plan and dismissed the bird's advice. Chapter 3: The Crocodile Targets the Children. Finally, the crocodile found a spot where he could disguise himself as a tree trunk and wait for the children to pass by. He lay in wait for hours, but no children came. The crocodile grew impatient and decided to go and find them himself. He came across a group of children playing by the river and tried to sneak up on them. But the children were too clever for him and ran away, screaming. The crocodile was furious and determined to catch them the next time. Chapter 4: The Animal's Plan. The animals of the jungle had been watching the crocodile's movements and knew that they needed to act fast to protect the children. They came up with a plan to trick the crocodile and save the children from his clutches. First, they enlisted the help of a friendly elephant. The elephant agreed to give the crocodile a ride on his back and take him to the river where the children played. The crocodile was delighted at the prospect of an easy meal and climbed onto the elephant's back. Chapter 5: The Crocodile's Downfall. As the elephant made his way to the river, the other animals sprang into action. A group of monkeys and birds gathered sticks and stones, while a frog and a tortoise dug a pit in the path of the elephant. When the elephant reached the pit, he stumbled and fell in. The crocodile was thrown off his back and landed in the pit, too. The animals quickly covered the pit with branches and leaves, trapping the crocodile inside. The crocodile was furious and tried to escape, but the animals were too clever for him. They taunted him and reminded him of the harm he had intended to do to the innocent children. The crocodile pretended to realize the error of his ways and begged for forgiveness. Chapter 6: The Crocodile's Secret Plan. The enormous crocodile lay in the river, thinking about his secret plan. He was going to eat up a juicy little child for his lunch, but he had to be very clever about it. "I will pretend to be friendly and kind," he thought to himself. "I will tell the children that I am a new crocodile and that I want to be their friend. Then I will invite them to come and play with me near the river. Once they are close enough, I will snap them up in my jaws and gobble them all up. The crocodile was very pleased with himself for coming up with such a clever plan. He swam around in circles, imagining how delicious the children would taste. Meanwhile, the other animals in the jungle had heard about the crocodile's plan. They knew they had to do something to stop him before he hurt any innocent children. The monkeys got together and came up with a plan. They would lure the crocodile away from the river by throwing bananas into the trees. The crocodile loved bananas and would follow them anywhere. The plan worked perfectly. The crocodile followed the trail of bananas into the jungle, leaving the river unguarded. The monkeys quickly warned the children to stay away from the river and to be on the lookout for the crocodile. The children were very frightened, but they knew they had to be brave. They decided to make a plan of their own to stop the crocodile. Chapter 7: The Children's Plan. The children gathered together to come up with a plan to stop the crocodile. They knew they couldn't do it alone, so they enlisted the help of their animal friends in the jungle. First, they went to the elephants and asked for their help. The elephants agreed to help by stomping on the ground and making loud noises to scare the crocodile away. Next, they went to the hippos and asked for their help. The hippos agreed to help by splashing in the river and making big waves to knock the crocodile off balance. Finally, they went to the birds and asked for their help. The birds agreed to help by swooping down and pecking at the crocodile's eyes to blind him temporarily. With the help of their animal friends, the children were ready to put their plan into action. Chapter 8: The Showdown. The crocodile returned to the river, hungry for his lunch. He couldn't believe his luck when he saw a group of children playing nearby. "Hello, little children," he said in his friendliest voice. "Would you like to come and play with me in the river?" But the children were ready for him. They had been practicing their plan all day and were determined to stop the crocodile. As soon as the crocodile got close enough, the elephants began to stomp on the ground and make loud noises. The crocodile was startled and tried to swim away, but the hippos were waiting for him. They splashed in the water and created big waves that knocked the crocodile off balance. The crocodile was getting very angry now. He turned to snap at the hippos, but the birds swooped down and pecked at his eyes, blinding him temporarily. The crocodile was in trouble. He couldn't see where he was going and he couldn't defend himself from the other animals. He knew he had been outsmarted by the children and their animal friends. He swam away as fast as he could. Chapter 9: The Celebration. The children and animals in the jungle celebrated their victory over the crocodile. Chapter 10: The Crocodile Tries Again. The enormous crocodile was not a quitter, and he was determined to eat some children. He spent the next few days hiding in the river, watching and waiting for his next opportunity. One day, he saw a group of children playing near the riverbank. They were splashing in the water, laughing and having a great time. The crocodile crept up silently behind them, ready to snatch one of them up in his jaws. But just as he was about to strike, a voice boomed out from above. "Stop right there, you wicked creature." The crocodile looked up and saw a tall, slender bird with a sharp beak and long legs. It was a crane, and he looked very angry. "You will not harm these children," the crane said sternly. "I am the protector of the river, and I will not allow you to eat them." The crocodile was taken aback. He had never been challenged by a bird before, and he wasn't sure what to do. But he was still very hungry, and he wasn't about to give up his meal so easily. So he snarled at the crane and lunged forward. The crane was too quick for him, though. He hopped aside and pecked at the crocodile's eyes with his sharp beak. The crocodile roared in pain and retreated back into the river. The children were safe, thanks to the brave crane. They thanked him and went home to their families, while the crocodile slunk back to his lair to nurse his wounds and plan his next attack. Chapter 11: The Crocodile Meets His Match. The enormous crocodile was furious. He had been foiled again and again, and he was hungry and tired. But he was not a quitter, and he was determined to catch a child to eat. One day, he decided to change his strategy. Instead of trying to catch a child on the riverbank, he would try to lure one to him. So he swam up to the surface of the water and pretended to be a log, floating lazily in the sun. It wasn't long before a little girl wandered down to the river to play. She saw the crocodile and thought it was just a log, so she climbed on top of it and began to paddle around with her hands and feet. The crocodile waited until she was in the perfect position, and then he opened his jaws wide and lunged forward. But the little girl was smarter than the crocodile thought. As soon as she saw his mouth open, she jumped off the log and ran away as fast as she could. The crocodile was furious. He had been so close to getting his meal, and yet he had failed again. He slunk back into the river, his stomach growling with hunger. But the little girl had learned a valuable lesson. She knew never to trust a crocodile, no matter how harmless he might seem. Chapter 12: The Crocodile's Plan. The enormous crocodile was getting desperate. He had tried every trick in the book, and he still hadn't been able to catch a child to eat. He was hungry, angry, and very, very tired. One day, he decided to try one last time. He crawled out of the river and made his way deep into the jungle, where he hoped to find a child who was all alone. He spotted a little boy playing by himself in a clearing, and he crept up behind him, his mouth watering with anticipation. But just as he was about to pounce, he felt a sharp pain in his tail. He looked down and saw a small, angry monkey pulling his tail. This time also his plan was failed. Chapter 13: The Enormous Crocodile Gets a Surprise. The enormous crocodile was feeling very proud of himself as he waddled through the jungle. He had managed to trick all the animals and was sure he would finally get to eat some juicy children. Suddenly, he heard a loud rustling in the bushes. The crocodile stopped in his tracks and waited to see what was making the noise. Out of the bushes came a small bird, hopping along the ground. The crocodile couldn't believe his luck. Here was a perfect snack, just the right size for a hungry crocodile. But the bird didn't seem afraid. In fact, it started chirping and hopping around, as if it wanted to play with the crocodile. The crocodile didn't know what to make of it. He had never encountered a bird that didn't fear him. The bird hopped closer and closer to the crocodile, until it was right in front of him. Then, to the crocodile's surprise, the bird flew straight into the crocodile's mouth. The crocodile was so shocked that he couldn't even move. He felt something flapping around in his mouth and realized that the bird was still alive. It was fluttering its wings and trying to escape. The crocodile opened his mouth to let the bird go, but the bird was too quick for him. It flew out of the crocodile's mouth and perched on a nearby branch. The enormous crocodile was very angry. He had been humiliated by a tiny bird. He vowed to get revenge, but for now, he decided to continue his search for some tasty children. As the crocodile slithered away, the bird watched him go, still chirping happily. The other animals in the jungle had been watching the whole scene, and they were amazed by the bravery of the little bird. The enormous crocodile had no idea what was in store for him. The clever animals of the jungle were already planning their next move. Chapter 14. The Crocodile's Plan. The enormous crocodile was not pleased with the way things had turned out. He had been so close to tasting a juicy little child, but those clever animals had foiled his plan. He needed a new strategy, and he needed it fast. He retreated to his lair deep in the jungle to think. The crocodile spent the next few days plotting and scheming. He knew he had to come up with a foolproof plan if he was going to succeed in his mission. Finally, he hit upon an idea that he was sure would work. He would dress up in a fancy costume and disguise himself as a palm tree, so that he could sneak up on the children without being detected. The crocodile set to work, gathering all the materials he would need for his disguise. He found some palm fronds, coconuts, and other foliage, and began constructing his costume. It took him several days to complete, but he was pleased with the end result. When he was finished, he looked just like a real palm tree. The crocodile was ready to put his plan into action. He made his way to the edge of the jungle, where he knew the children liked to play. He positioned himself among the other trees and waited patiently for his prey to arrive. After a while, a group of children came skipping along the path, laughing and shouting. The crocodile waited until they were close enough, and then he pounced, grabbing one of the children in his jaws. But as he turned to make his escape, he suddenly realized that his disguise had failed him. The other children had seen him, and they were running towards him, screaming for help. The crocodile panicked. He knew he couldn't outrun the children, so he opened his jaws and released the child he had captured. He slunk back into the jungle, defeated and embarrassed. Chapter 15. The Enormous Crocodile's Final Plan. The enormous crocodile lay on the riverbank, feeling very sorry for himself. He had been foiled in every attempt to catch and eat a juicy child for his lunch. He had tried disguises, he had tried sneaking up on them, he had tried pretending to be a coconut tree, but nothing had worked. As he lay there, feeling sorry for himself, he came up with one last plan. This plan was so cunning that he was sure it would work. He would disguise himself as a seesaw and lure the children onto his back. When they were all on board, he would suddenly snap his jaws shut and gobble them up. The enormous crocodile set off towards the town, feeling confident that this plan would be a success. As he walked through the jungle, he came across Trunky the elephant. "Hello, enormous crocodile," said Trunky. "What are you up to today?" "I have a new plan to catch and eat children," replied the crocodile. Trunky was shocked. "You can't do that," he said. "It's not right to eat children." The crocodile laughed. "I'm a crocodile, Trunky. It's what I do." Trunky shook his head. "I won't let you do it," he said. "I'll make sure the children are safe." The enormous crocodile snarled. "You can't stop me, Trunky. I'm too clever for you." Trunky stood his ground. "We'll see about that," he said. As the crocodile continued towards the town, he was joined by Humpy Rumpy the hippopotamus. "Hello, enormous crocodile," said Humpy Rumpy. "What are you up to today?" "I have a new plan to catch and eat children," replied the crocodile. Humpy Rumpy was horrified. "You can't do that," he said. "It's not right to eat children." The crocodile laughed. "I'm a crocodile, Humpy Rumpy. It's what I do." Humpy Rumpy snorted. "I won't let you do it," he said. "I'll make sure the children are safe." The enormous crocodile growled. "You can't stop me, Humpy Rumpy. I'm too clever for you." As the crocodile continued towards the town, he was joined by Mugglewump the monkey. "Hello, enormous crocodile," said Mugglewump. "What are you up to today?" "I have a new plan to catch and eat children," replied the crocodile. Mugglewump was appalled. "You can't do that," he said. "It's not right to eat children." The crocodile laughed. "I'm a crocodile, Mugglewump. It's what I do." Mugglewump chattered. "I won't let you do it," he said. "I'll make sure the children are safe." The enormous crocodile sneered. "You can't stop me, Mugglewump. I'm too clever for you." But the crocodile was wrong. Trunky, Humpy Rumpy, and Mugglewump had a plan of their own. They spread the word throughout the jungle that the enormous crocodile was on his way to the town to eat the children. They told all the animals to be on the lookout for him and to warn the children if they saw him coming. The animals and the children worked together to foil the enormous crocodile's plan. Chapter 16: The Crocodile's Final Defeat. The enormous crocodile, having failed in his attempts to catch and eat the other animals, decided to target the children. He thought they would be an easy prey as they were smaller and weaker than the other animals. So, he set off towards the village where the children lived. As he reached the village, he saw a little girl playing in the yard. He thought she would be an easy target and moved towards her silently. But just as he was about to pounce, the little girl's mother came out and saw the crocodile. She screamed in terror and ran towards the house to get help. The enormous crocodile, angry at being foiled again, decided to teach the little girl a lesson. He crept up behind her and opened his enormous jaws wide, ready to swallow her whole. But just as he was about to snap his jaws shut, something strange happened. The little girl started to laugh. The crocodile was taken aback. He had never encountered anyone who would laugh at the sight of him about to eat them. The little girl continued to laugh, and the crocodile realized that he could not bring himself to eat someone who was so happy and full of joy. He closed his jaws and slunk away, defeated once again. Chapter 17: A New Attitude. The crocodile was feeling sorry for himself. He couldn't understand why he was always failing in his attempts to catch the children. He was the biggest and strongest animal in the jungle, and yet he was constantly being outsmarted by the smaller and weaker creatures. One day, he was lying in his lair, brooding over his latest failure, when he heard a commotion outside. He went to investigate, and he saw a group of animals gathered around a small clearing. Curious, he approached the group and asked what was going on. "We're having a party," said the monkey. "We thought we'd celebrate the fact that we've managed to keep the children safe from you." The crocodile felt a pang of jealousy. He wanted to be part of the party too, but he knew he was not welcome. He turned to leave, but then he heard the monkey's voice again. "Wait a minute," said the monkey. "You can join the party if you want. But there's a catch. You have to promise never to try and eat the children again." The crocodile thought about it for a moment. He realized that he had been going about things all wrong. He had been so focused on his own desires that he had forgotten about the feelings of others. He knew that he had to change his ways. "I promise," he said. "I'll never try to eat the children again." And with that, the crocodile joined the party. It was a joyous occasion, with music and dancing and plenty of food to go around. The crocodile felt happy for the first time in a long while. He realized that he didn't need to eat the children to be happy. All he needed was the company of his friends. Chapter 18: The Crocodile Learns a Valuable Lesson. As the enormous crocodile made his way back to the river, he realized that he had learned a valuable lesson. He had been so focused on satisfying his hunger that he had forgotten the importance of happiness and joy. He had never considered that someone could be happy even in the face of danger. The crocodile felt ashamed of himself for his selfishness and cruelty. He knew that he had to change his ways and become a better crocodile. He decided to seek out the other animals in the jungle and apologize for his actions. One by one, he went to each animal and apologized for trying to eat them. At first, the other animals were skeptical and afraid of him, but as they listened to his apologies, they realized that he was sincere. The enormous crocodile had truly changed, and he made a promise never to harm any of the animals in the jungle again. He spent his days swimming in the river, basking in the sun, and making new friends with the other animals. Chapter 19: The Enormous Crocodile's Final Lesson. One day, as the enormous crocodile was swimming in the river, he saw a group of children playing on the banks. He remembered his old desire to eat children, but he also remembered the lessons he had learned. He knew that he could never hurt another living creature again. So, he swam over to the children and introduced himself. To his surprise, the children were not afraid of him. They were fascinated by his size and asked him to tell them stories about his adventures in the jungle. The enormous crocodile was happy to oblige, and he spent the whole day with the children, telling them stories and playing games. He realized that he had finally found true happiness and fulfillment in life. From that day forward, the enormous crocodile lived a happy and peaceful life, never again trying to harm anyone. He had learned that true joy and happiness came not from satisfying one's own desires, but from making others happy and sharing in their joy. Moral of the story: the enormous crocodile teaches us that it's never okay to hurt others just for our own pleasure. We should always try to be kind and considerate to others, and never act selfishly. It's important to learn from our mistakes and make amends for any harm we may have caused. The Enormous Crocodile is a story that teaches valuable lessons about the importance of being vigilant and working together to overcome dangerous situations. The crocodile's plan to eat children in the jungle is a metaphor for the dangers that can lurk in our lives, whether they be physical or metaphorical. One of the main teachings of the story is the importance of working together. The animals in the jungle are able to thwart the crocodile's plan because they work together and use their unique strengths to outsmart the predator. This is a valuable lesson for us all, as we face challenges in our lives. By working together with others and leveraging our unique skills and strengths, we can overcome even the most daunting obstacles. Another important teaching of the story is the value of being vigilant and aware of our surroundings. The animals in the story are able to anticipate the crocodile's moves because they are constantly aware of their surroundings and looking out for potential threats. In our own lives, we can apply this lesson by being aware of the risks and dangers that surround us, whether they be in our physical environment or in our relationships with others. Finally, the story teaches the value of compassion and empathy towards others. Despite the crocodile's nefarious plan, the animals in the jungle show compassion towards him and offer him a chance to change his ways. This is a reminder that even those who have wronged us or posed a threat to us may be capable of redemption if we approach them with kindness and understanding. Overall, the story of the enormous crocodile is a powerful reminder of the importance of working together, being vigilant, and showing compassion towards others. These lessons can be applied to many aspects of our lives and can help us navigate even the most challenging situations. As the journey comes to an end, take a moment to appreciate all the beauty and wonder you have encountered. And know that you can always return to this place whenever you need a moment of rest and relaxation. Now, let yourself drift off into a deep and peaceful sleep, knowing that you are surrounded by love and the magic of nature. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more exciting adventures like this one. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our Bedtime Bliss stories. If you did, don't forget to like and share this video with your friends and family. Sweet dreams!